Hello, welcome to today's video. My name is Ethan Chazen. I am a New York-based organization development coach, and I work with organizations, both businesses, nonprofits, government entities, to help them unleash their people's untapped potential. Today's video is a kind of a best practices, if you would, of how to be an amazingly empathetic and caring leader. Why is that important? Well, because the phrase leader implies followers. And with the kind of shifting of the American workforce from being composed mostly by boomers and maturers who are retiring in the tens of thousands every day, our reconstituted workforce is being repopulated or re-energized with mostly Gen Z and to a lesser extent millennial workers. They have different expectations and needs from the people who are going to lead them. So what does it mean to be an empathetic and caring leader? Well, start with emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence, and you can look up any videos or articles written by Daniel Goleman, the godfather of EI, but it's a four-step process where the first thing you do, and you have to do them in order, the first thing you do is pay attention to your own feelings and emotions so that the second step is you can effectively regulate how you're doing at any point in time. You got to get those two done, self-awareness and self-regulation, before you can then approach step three, which is being socially aware, looking around at the people who are on your team, the people who report to you, your employees, your peers. Take a look at them to be able to be aware of their language, their tonality, their nonverbal cues. And then that leads to step four, which most people mistakenly assume is emotional intelligence. Step four is social management, is effectively managing the relationships. The next step is the distinction and practicing the distinction between what I like to coach my executives is the distinction between sympathy and empathy. And they're not identical. So sympathy is trying to understand how somebody else is feeling or doing. Maybe the passing of a loved one, or they're going through some challenging times. That sympathy is trying to connect with them on an emotional level. Empathy is a deeper dive where you actually make a very concerted effort to put yourself in their situation to really feel what they're feeling. There are a few other things that encompass the totality of being an emotionally intelligent, mature, and caring leader. It's unconscious bias. We all have them. From the time we were wee little children, we developed certain beliefs, ideologies, personality styles, communication, nuances. That's our subconscious bias. Those are the things that we do, how we interact with other people, how we manifest, often without even being conscious of it. So that's what subconscious bias is. We have a collective set of prejudices or preferences that we don't even realize come out in our interactions, who we prefer to interact with, who we want around us, and who we push away from us. And that unconscious bias leads to blind spots, the things that we don't see, our behaviors, and that's why one of the things that I do in my coaching practice is I try to convince organizations to conduct personality assessments to get a handle on how their leadership team and pretty much how everybody interacts with each other based on our personalities or our kind of preferred communication practices. And so I'm a certified extended disc trainer, but I say implement any kind of personality assessment for yourself to really reveal how you prefer to operate, your natural comfort levels, your discomfort, and embrace those. The next thing I often do with business owners and leaders is, what's your legacy? Meaning we work backwards from when you step away from the organization. What do you want to be the lasting contributions you've made to your organization, society, communities you live in, and the people that you engage with, your social and professional spheres of influence? Your legacy, your lasting legacy, is your leave behind. It's the things that you say here. After the totality of my career and my journey, these are the things that I want to impart on you. Maybe it's your activity in the community. It's your not-for-profit work. It's your coaching and mentoring. But that's where I start to say that's the distinction, one of the many distinctions between managing, which is an outdated 20th century notion of controlling people, treating them like assets, and that should be dead in your organization. And the transition to leadership is this notion of what is your legacy. And the next piece, which is associated with personality assessments and really understanding your own personal preferred style of communication and the way that you engage other people, the kind of people you gravitate to, the kind of people you tend to be a little hesitant to open up with. And that's what we call observe, assess, and recognize. The observation is you paying attention to other people. Once you do this emotional intelligence and you have a clear handle on your own preferred personality and style of communication, observe in other people their body language, their tonality, the words they use, the rapidity of their speech, their comfort levels when they exhibit discomfort. So you can observe them and assess maybe what category or personality style or traits they manifest and exhibit. So that's the observing them, to then do a deeper dive and assess who they are, and then to recognize as an empathetic, caring leader, to recognize the ways in which you will need and want to modify your engagement with those individuals who maybe aren't similar to you in your background and your preferred communication style, so that you can recognize similarities and distinctions between you and others and between others in a group, and then therefore tailor your approach as a leader to each of the people who are lucky enough to call you, to be a follower of yours. And so those are the kind of central tenets or constructs on effective leadership. And I'll say it again, leadership is not managing. There's a significant groundswell movement away from managing, which was all about that 20th century industrial manufacturing kind of mindset, where organizations became pyramids with lots of administrative hierarchical structure to keep people at the top from people in the middle, from people at the bottom, and then to therefore exert control. And then as a result of that, to create toxic workplace environments and horrible cultures that demean individuals, that expect them to give up control of their own lives for this thing called the indentured servitude of a paycheck. That's not how you're going to be hardwired. If you're watching this video, you clearly cared enough to take a break from your busy day to say, what does it mean to be an empathetic and caring leader? What do I need to have in me, and what do I need to exhibit? And it really comes back to a fundamental sense of, are you in it for the profit? Which, if you understand that, that's fine. Better that you recognize that. And or as a result of that, are you focused on identifying the strongest candidates out there who share your values to bring into your organization, and to give them everything they need to empower them to get out of their way? And the biggest thing they need from you is to understand that every individual, like their fingerprints, is fundamentally unique, invaluable, and memorable. So what do you do with that? As a caring and empathetic leader, you understand that there are 5 universal needs that everybody has. The first need is stated. When you ask people as their leader, what do they need from you? They'll tell you, right? They'll state what they need. That's the first. But then it's your job as a caring, compassionate leader to translate that and understand with each individual that you lead, what do they really need? That's the second level. Most leaders are managers because they stop at that level. But again, there's 5 levels of need. The third level is, what are they not telling you? What's gone unstated? That by building a relationship based on empathy and caring and trust and loyalty, you get to understand their wants, needs, and desires, the things that they're not telling you deliver. That's the third level. And the fourth level, once you get to know them really well, and you're drilling down through what they're not telling you, their unstated needs you're delivering, you'll start to find that there are things that would really delight them. Coaching, mentoring, career advancement. They maybe want professional certifications or accreditations. They want to go back to school. There are things that they want to accomplish, and you give it to them, even though they haven't told it to. Those are delight needs. That's the fourth level. And the deepest dive, fifth level, is secret needs. Things that they're not going to tell you because they're not admitting it to themselves. So to be a transformational, caring, compassionate, empathetic leader requires you understand yourself and others. You regulate your emotions in yourself and others. You manage relationships with them based on each individual's personality, preferred style of communication, interaction, knowing who they are, as well as yourself. and then delivering on the things that they want, need, desire from you. Those 5 universal needs, or if you really kind of understand a different model, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you can kind of go there to understand people go from the most basic elemental physiological needs, and once you deliver them, they go up the hierarchy all the way to self-actualization, that their life has meaning and purpose. And that, my friend, will help you transition or become the truest manifestation you can hope to achieve of being a transformational leader. Thanks a lot for coming in and checking out the video. If you like what I had to say, please be sure to subscribe, share the video, like, send me comments. I'm always checking out what people are saying. Help me grow this community, this YouTube channel, to deliver other content just like this. Have an amazing day.